What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to unbox the Banpresto World Figure Colosseum 10th Anniversary Super Master Stars piece Roanoa Zoro the Brush and 2 Dimensions figures by Banpresto/Bandai Spirits. The brush version is the one that I've gotten for myself, and the 2 Dimensions version is provided by Chronicles Inc. Once again, they are so kind to lend me a BWFC figure to review, and this time around we can do a side-by-side comparison between 2 versions. If you've never heard of Chronicles Inc., they are a local Singapore shop that sells anime figures. I've been buying most of my One Piece figures from them for a few years now. They are an excellent shop, they are very reliable, they have a wide selection, and not only do they sell locally, they also ship overseas. So if you're interested to find out more about them or want to buy some figures, go ahead to their website to check them out or visit their social media handles like Facebook and Instagram. Alright, with that out of the way, we are gonna take a quick look at the box first before we go ahead with the unboxing. The box themselves, they are very tall, and I will have difficulty reaching out to them behind the camera. This is my limit. But right at the front, you can see the series name, an image of Zoro. They look pretty much the same, just that the background is different colors. One is white, one is black. We have a Banpresto logos, a Bandai Spirits logo, and of course a series name at the bottom. And over here we have a small image of the brush version, and over here we have a small image of the 2 Dimensions version. This is the side. They basically just highlight the version you are getting. So this is the brush, this is the 2 Dimensions. The other side, same as well. And this is the back. At the top here, we have our white Toei stickers to prove their authenticity. And as you can see here, the boxes are brand new and sealed. We are going to do the unboxing together. Let's go! I have taken out the parts of the figure, and we have a total of 6 pieces. We have Zoro's lower half, his upper body, the supporting stand, the handles for the Sandai Kitetsu and Shusui, and we have the Wado Ichimonji coming in one piece. This is how the figure looks like when put together. First impressions, I gotta say, both these figures fell way below my expectations when it comes to overall quality. I think that they do not hit the standards of the SMSP series or what we really expect, and it seems like the quality here and the prototype is quite a significant stretch, which is very disappointing. They both have big and small issues, which I'll discuss again later, but I have to say, between these two, the brush looks a lot better than the 2 Dimensions. I do not like the darker shade this time round on this figure, and the way the shading is done, the shape of the shades, they look really weird, and the figure looks very dark. Furthermore, the lighter shade here is painted with this reflective coat, which makes the figure looks like it's made with cheap PVC material. That is not good. Maybe one good thing that you can see here for both figures is that they stand fine on their own without the supporting stand. So that's great. You don't have to really attach these clunky supports to them that will steal attention away from the figures. Let us take a closer look at the figure starting from the head sculpt. In terms of character likeness, I think they did well here. He looks pretty much like Zoro. Facial expressions wise, some might say he looks a bit constipated, and I can certainly see it that way, but I think it's supposed to be kind of pissed off and furious, ready to lash out. Details on the face are fantastic here as well. I think the painting is good, and I particularly like how they added details like the veins and lines around the face to just show and emphasize his expression. Of course, here we have him biting a part of his lower lip, which can look a little funny, but I think the sculpt itself has no issues, and I believe it is also the first time I've seen a figure with the mouth sculpted like this, so it is very interesting. His earrings is on the side of his face here, as you can see. And maybe one complaint that I have for the face and the head sculpt is that the joints between the face piece and the hair piece is not seamless enough, and there can be some significant gaps like over here. So definitely an area that could have been improved on to make it more natural. His hair sculpt is pretty fantastic all around, with the hair flowing towards the back and the top knots over here, some shading here and there, and the finishing is decent. I don't think I've seen any rough edges throughout. And I'll just quickly try to show you guys the other side. For his body, we can see that the muscle sculpts are well defined and shaped. It shows how muscular Zoro is, and style-wise, they have also added these lines here and there onto the figure to show shading that is similar to how it is in the manga drawings, and also reminds me a bit of the King of Artists style. The scar is sculpted into the figure, so you can feel it going into the skin. And over here at his armpit, we can see a seam line there, which we already saw in the prototype, but I think they did their best to hide it and make it less obvious. A big complaint here that most people have is that the connection between the upper body piece and the lower body piece is unnatural. It is where the muscles meet the waistband, and it looks like the muscles are cut off, like right over here at the joint. The waistband should have been higher so that it looks like it wraps around Zoro's body, and you can see that towards the back it is slightly better. It looks more layered, more natural. And right at the front here, it looks terrible, especially once you notice it. It just looks very off. From the back, it is the same, with the muscles sculpted excellently, some shading here and there. And the seam lines around the arms are also quite well hidden around the muscle curves, with shading to help, which I must commend them for, because it is certainly difficult to spot, especially from a distance. And if I recall correctly, the lines on the prototype are actually more obvious than over here, so they did a great job. And the arms themselves and the hands, they are just holding the Wado Ichimonji. You can see some details on the fingers over there. Same on the other hand. For Zoro's lower half, other than his waistband, we also have his kimono wrapping loosely around his body. Hence, we have all these creases and folds, and a lot of these lines as well to show shading. And you can also tell that certain parts with the painting, it is not perfect. It is missing in some areas, like here, and over here and here for the kimono design. Maybe it is due to scratches, or they just didn't have good enough QC. And I'll just quickly show you guys the back to see how the folds are like. It is quite good looking, I must say, quite natural. And here we can see his legs and his feet, and also the slippers with those wooden textures and carvings sculpted into it. And for those of you interested, you can see his underwear here, wrapping his genitals nicely. The details on the swords are pretty decent with good paint application. We even have glossy paints here and here to make it look more metallic. What I do not like about this is that they decided to make the sheaths of the sword with solid PVC material, and do it differently once again for the handles with this soft bendable PVC. I'm not sure why, and maybe due to the packaging itself, the sword is already bent. You can tell from this angle, and also it is further aggravated by poor positioning of Zoro's arms. Maybe something is off, but the sword can't be put in a straight way, so this hand is actually pushing a bit of the handle in this position. So it is supposed to be, you know, kind of more towards that direction. And I don't like it at all because it looks kind of bad from the front. And over here at the back, you can actually see a little pack that's supposed to go into the side of the body. but for the life of me, I can't figure out how to push it in. I've used all my strength, tried to force it, but it just doesn't go in, so I'm not sure what's happening here. I might just have to leave the sword like this. I did notice that the sword positioning for the 2 dimensions is a lot better than over here, and I'll show you guys later. The supporting stands this time around, they are very clunky and blocky like I mentioned, and they try to give some sort of design to it with flower petals, flowers, maybe to match the Wano theme, but to me it is still so eye-catching that it steals attention away from the figures. I'd rather they just give us a translucent, you know, like a PVC acrylic supporting stand. That would have been a lot better. But the good thing is you don't have to use this because the figures stand fine on their own. I will now spend some time to talk about 2-dimension Zoro, and like I mentioned previously, I do not really like how the style is being applied to the figure this time round, unlike Luffy. I feel that the shapes of the shading, they are really off, very random, and the whole figure just looks very dark, especially on Zoro's face. I have no clue where the light source is coming from because the shading doesn't tell me. And I know that this sword is supposed to be throwing shadows onto his face as well, so more than half of his face I believe is covered in shadows. So I have no idea how is that going to look good. And the lighter part of his skin is also painted with a reflective beige color, and that makes the figure look much like cheap PVC material, which is not a good thing. For the sword, you can definitely tell that this is much straighter than the one on my brush version, so it is better, but the peg issue still exists. I can't force this into the side of the body anyhow, so maybe it is a sculpt problem throughout all the Zoro figures. And one thing, if you look at the sword colors, they no longer have the metallic paints because it is 2 dimensions and they have this like matte yellow color instead. And for me personally, I definitely prefer the metallic glossy paints. For his outfit, I think the paint application is a lot better than the body, so it definitely looks more natural, resting between the folds and creases. One big issue that I really want to talk about for this 2 dimensions figure is that the upper half cannot connect properly to the lower half, and this is evident at the big gap over here around the back. So whatever, I'm not sure if it's the joint problem or not. I tried to force it in, push it in, twist it, but this is not my figure, so I don't want to be too forceful, but it just doesn't go in, and there's this massive gap over here at the back. It is honestly horrendous, and I'm not sure if this is an isolated issue or is it a widespread problem, because I've seen some reviews also online by other people that they have the same problem. And if that's the case, I gotta say, Banpresto, Bandai Spirits, they did a heck of a lousy job when it comes to QC, and this figure shouldn't even be released to the market if there is such a major issue. I mean, like, people are paying like what, 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus in some places, and you get a figure with such quality? I don't think they deserve it. For those of you who ordered this figure and have the same problem, I gotta say, I feel for you. You don't deserve to get figures of such quality, and we have to be more careful with buying figures nowadays. The height of these figures from the bottom to the top of their head, that is around 22.5 cm, about 8 3/4 inches. If you're talking to the top of the hand, that is about 24 cm and 9.5 inches. Here I have taken out some of my other Zoro figures so we can do a little bit of comparison. This is the Masterlight Swordsman Zoro, this is the Masterlight Best Edition Zoro, and bloody heck guys, what is going on here? I didn't even realize how small this Zoro is until I put the 3 of them together, because these two, they are supposed to be in line with your King of Artists, Master Stars piece, Flag Diamond Ship, Glitter and Glamours, Glitter and Brave, and this Zoro just looks like he fits in well with the other two. So maybe this is not even the SMSP scale at all, and we've been lied to. He should have been bigger. He looks more to be in line with the Masterlight series, the King of Artists series. Doesn't look out of place at all. I have no idea what to feel about this, but I guess if you're looking for a Zoro around this size, this scale, then this is a good alternative. A bit pricey, but I think he's alright. Here I have Grantista Nero Zoro and Big Size Zoro, so we can do more comparisons. If I'm not wrong, the SMSP is supposed to be around the same size and scale as the Grantista series, but it looks like between these two, this Zoro is still smaller. And I think that even if he's standing up straight, he wouldn't be as tall. So I guess we can more or less confirm that this Zoro is actually not SMSP scale. It is much closer to Master Lai's King of Artists. Lastly, I have my Zoro sailing again, and 10th anniversary Zoro, so you can see how he compares to the Portrait of Pirates series. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I want to say for this figures. In conclusion, between these two, in my opinion, the brush is a lot better than the 2 dimensions. This time round, the colors on the 2 dimensions is not my cup of tea. I think Zoro is too dark overall, and it has also major sculpt issues. And do let us know, do share with us if you encounter the same problem, so we know if it is an isolated case or it is a big problem for everyone. And if you are a big Zoro fan, you want a Wano Zoro figure, you missed out on the POPs, you think that the POP is not good enough, you missed out on the Ichiban Kuji Master Lai's, this is definitely a good alternative based on our scale comparison previously, and it can line up perfectly well with the rest of your collection along the same scale. Alright, as usual, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, which version you prefer. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up and share them with your friends. If you're new here and you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell notification button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.